Okay, we're live, but we got to bring on our dear Facebook community. Bear with us one second here. We got to let it breathe just for a moment, and we're good. Welcome in everybody to the rapid reaction episode of the Huddle Up podcast, presented as always by Mile High Huddle, powered by Overtime Media. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, as always, my partner in crime. You know him, you love him. He's Zack Kelberman. Zack, we have a little bit more time on this rapid reaction stream than we might normally because we opted to go live now with about, minute and 50 seconds left to go. So we're going to see Drew Lock's 2-minute drill. But what's been your rapid reaction takeaway number one through, most of this first half?
I think the missed Bradley Chubb sack, I believe it was in the first quarter, was a microcosm of this game and of the Broncos season, Chad. He was inches away. He was right there. He was this close, but just not there yet. They have their chances. Denver has so far. I just told you before we went live, when they capitalized off the turnover, I mean, they forced a turnover, which is special enough. Then they scored a touchdown off of it. Then they forced a 3-and-out. That was their chance to stamp their image on this game, to take charge of this game, and they didn't do it. They punted the ball over, and then Buffalo scored. Now it's a 2-touchdown deficit once again. They're hanging in there. They've gotten some bad refereeing calls against them. The play calling in certain pockets hasn't been great. Drew Lock in certain pockets hasn't been great. The defense in certain pockets hasn't been great, Chad. But overall, it's on a blowout. It's right there, just I think a little out of their reach.
I would maybe pick a bone on the defense. The defense has been what you would expect because they're playing dudes that are literally, third, fourth, fifth, sixth string guys in the defensive secondary. You expect them to eventually, the straw eventually breaks the camel's back if you stack enough of them. The Bills have 4 possessions today, Zach. They've scored touchdowns on 3 of them, and the nice one play that they didn't was a 3-and-out. Great job by the Broncos there. Punt. It's just so many. The Bills are a team that are showing you what complimentary football means, and the Broncos are just not quite consistent enough to really keep up with them.
And aside from that last Buffalo possession, they've been a very disciplined, well-coached team, and that offense, Chad, is just humming on a surgical level. Everyone knows where to go. Everyone knows where the ball is going to go, and it's actually pretty fun to watch. What I meant about the defense, though, I understand the deficiencies they have. I even tweeted about it. They're down their 7 starting caliber players, but when you have breakdowns like Allen's touchdown run, where players are fighting on the sideline because of it, it reminded me of the Sam Darnold touchdown run. So there's playing, shorthanded. It's an unfair disadvantage for Denver, but those kind of breakdowns, to me, that's where the defense is culpable, injuries or not.
Yeah, and it was, keeping it on the theme of culpability, you see Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons get split by, it's beautiful design because if you're the defense, you're these safeties, you're focused on these 3 dynamic playmakers of Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and Isaiah McKenzie. That's kind of where your peripherals are. And then they run the no-name tight end right down the seam and completely split Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons. That's just, that's a good team doing what good teams should do, and that is exploit the weakness.
Yeah, and you know what? I love Devontae Bosby, Chad. So do you, but he's really having a horrible game today. And that first touchdown he surrendered where he basically gave up mid-play in the end zone and looking to the ref to bail him out, that's unacceptable. And his effort today really hasn't been there. It looks like he's kind of a little slower than the receiver he's guarding, which is Stephon Diggs. Tough matchup, but I'm noticing a different type of play from Bosby, and I'm kind of discouraged from it.
For what it's worth, the Broncos are moving the ball a little bit. They've crossed the 50 in their little 2-minute drill, just called their second timeout. There's 51 seconds left to go. So, if the Broncos can get any points on this drive, it could be the type of little momentum, energy, confidence booster that could help them in the second half. But honestly, this is a game where you cannot afford to go 3-and-out. You can't afford to miss kicks. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, which football god did the Broncos so grievously offend? They're in week 15 and they don't have their kicker. You know what I mean? And it's already come back and haunted them with that. Wide of the mark. Missed 54-yarder from Taylor Russolino.
I was going to say, they're missing their kicker, but the guy this is the best they can do. This guy, Chad, he shanked it like it was a bad college kick, and I can't blame him too much. It's a windy environment today. It's tough to kick there, but damn, you miss McManus in these situations, and I hope Locke's okay. Got him kind of slow there.
Oh, that was an ugly throw, Judy. to Judy on 2nd and 6. Yep.
He just stopped targeting Judy. Bad things happen, Chad, when he's targeting Judy today.
It's almost like it's just the chemistry's not there between the two of them, but Locke being the quarterback, being the guy that knows this is my first-round pick, the guy that knows, hey, he's been a squeaky wheel the last week or two. I'm going to try and feed him the ball. But it's not natural. It's just never on point for whatever reason. Those two need to figure out how to get on the same page, Zach.
For sure, yes. And you see it with Tim Patrick. You see it with KJ Hamler. You certainly see it with Noah Fant today. It's great to have him back. You're right. The chemistry isn't there for one reason or another, and it's part of the reason why Jerry Jeudy was airing his frustrations. But Drew Lock has to know he can't put the ball in dangerous situations to get it to his rookie.
So we're sitting here with 29 seconds to go, 3rd and 6. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, this super chat from Tom El Greco. Appreciate you, my friend. We're getting a flag here. What was the flag? Intentional grounding? What was the flag here? Hold on. I got to hear this. Bear with me.
You're a little tape delayed there.
Oh, it's on the defense. Okay. Yeah. You know, it's weird when different parts of the country, it's always like fractions of seconds, sometimes longer, of different delays and gaps between. All right, whatever.
Please just don't try a field goal here. Just take shots to the end zone. I don't want to see that again.
But thank you, by the way. He's talking about the 26-yard run. Come on, guys. Come on, man. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that, Tom. Yeah, it was a breakdown, but
come on, Drew.
Schlereth did a great job articulating why that was such a big-time play for Josh Allen, because he saw the press, he saw the middle of the field was likely to be wide open based on what his routes were going to be, and the way the Broncos rush just kind of broke across the Bills' offensive line. It was boom, bada bing, bada bang.
Yeah, that was Josh Allen all the way, and that's great Buffalo coaching and just a defensive breakdown on Denver's part. I'm mostly with you, Chad. They've played as well of a game as you might expect given the injuries and the shorthandedness, but that touchdown run was fairly unacceptable from a Fangio defense.
I'll say I'm just a little disappointed that, I mean, here's on one hand, and I wrote this on Twitter and in the live blog. By the way, gang, you should be hanging out at milehighhuddle.com in our open thread. It's for everybody. We want to hear your takes. But that, you know, at least there's the moral victory, Zach, of early on anyway, not so much the last drive, but Fangio's defense is at least forcing Josh Allen to nickel and dime. You know, it's a 10-play drive. When you start with a short field, then it's an 11-play drive that goes 95 yards. But still, you know, they're really making the Bills work for it. And I guess that's one small moral victory. Massive, generous super chat from one of our superstars that we haven't seen in the stream for a minute. So it's good to have you, Jason, and thank you and welcome, my friend. He says, long time since I've been able to catch a live stream. Here we go. Oh, here we go. 1st and 10, and it's connect to
nice throw to Judy.
All right.
To the 6.
All right, you're ahead of me. So
yeah, on 3rd and 4. Big time, big boy throw. Out route to Judy. He tackled inbounds, though. I believe the Broncos used a timeout. I think it's like the 6 or the 7. 11 seconds left, 1st and goal. Yeah, they used their last timeout. Nice throw there.
Jason, though, by the way, he says, long time since I've been able to catch a live stream. Missed you all. We missed you too. Got to say, I love Judy's route running, but he alligator armed that pass on 3rd down that should have been a 1st down because he didn't want to take the hit. Shake my head. You guys rock. I know exactly what you're talking about on that 3 and out where they really needed to not go 3 and out after the Bills had, ooh, come on. Ooh, tipped. So
watch the next play.
What are you seeing from Jerry Jeudy up to this point? I know you agree. Saw the big play, but
yeah, I agree with the premise that Jason's saying. It's like, again, when you get your 2 hands on the ball, you're expected to catch it. It was a little off target. I don't know if he didn't want to take the hit. I'm not going to speculate there, but I feel like Jeudy, being a 1st-round receiver who's complained for more targets, should catch any pass that's within his vicinity. But that last catch, though, what a dime by Drew.
All right, so I'm about to see what you're talking about. I'm about a minute and a half behind you in real time.
He gets smacked under pressure, body hanging off of him, an out route dime to Jeudy. Big boy throw.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, it really has been a fun game to watch so far, and you really see a young team that's, you know, kind of figuring out its way, trying to find its identity. But, you know, it's good to see Drew Lock. They got to get points here, Zach. Not points, not just a field goal. When you're this deep. 11 seconds, final timeout taken. You got to get 6.
I'm taking 4 shots to the end zone here. No, I can't take a sack, though. Get rid of the ball. This is a good test for Locke here, Chad, coming up to know when to get rid of the ball and to live to fight another down. No hero ball here, Drew. Get it into the end zone. And he is. And what a catch by Noah Fant, and what a throw by Mr. Drew Lock. Touchdown. Wow.
I can't wait to see it, you guys. I can't wait
Welcome back, Noah. This is a future perennial Pro Bowl tight end in the making. He has been so fun to watch develop from year one to year two. What a player. What a catch.
This would be his third touchdown of the season and his first since week two. Zach, unbelievable.
What a
unbelievable.
Catch. Fighting off the coverage, too. It looked like he was being held there or at least mugged a little bit by the linebacker. Just keeping 2 feet in bounds, having that recognition, getting an elbow in. He had 4 feet and 3 elbows, Chad, in bounds. That's a touchdown all the way. What a throw. You celebrate number 3.
Dallin jumping in. Where'd that go? John, I had Dallin. Where'd it go? Sorry. There he is. Am I the only one? Thank you.
Oh, my God. They missed the extra point. Please, just can Sam Martin kick? Can Sam Martin? He does everything else. He's the MVP of the season. Let him try kicking. God, they're going to lose this game because of Russolino.
Some kickers can combo, some can't. I don't think punters, outside of the guy who recommended Russolino, Pat McAfee, not too many punters even try and practice kicks because there's that whole pre-kick stroke. Wow, that was a nice play. Dallin says, am I the only one that doesn't like Jewel on the field at all when there's a QB on the field? No,
right there with you, Dallin.
Yeah, we feel you, my dog. It is cringe every time he's in coverage. I mean, I think he's done the best he can with his limited coverage ability he has, Zach. But yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, I speculated on Twitter, does anyone out there want Micah Parsons as much as I do right now? I understand they'll probably take a cornerback, but you got to have, this is another example, another exhibit, Chad. You got to have that dynamic inside linebacker. It's the missing piece of this defense. If they get that guy, there's no stopping them.
Now, Zach, I missed this for whatever reason as I was updating the live blog. Base Gaze jumping in with a super. Thank you, my friend. He says, thoughts on the Chubb and Shelby altercation. And Bosby is having a shocker against Diggs. The altercation, what did you see there, Zach?
I think it was just there was a definite breakdown. Someone between them, Chubb or Shelby, blew their assignment. They blew their coverage and or their gap responsibility, and they just aired it out. But you know what? They ended up hugging, and it was a good sign by Bradley Chubb, a good show of leadership to literally hug it out and say, you know what? We're on the same team. We'll get them next time. Nothing major. This happens more often than you know. It's just not always televised or caught on camera.
Especially when Shelby's kind of the perceived veteran there. I like that Chubb, whoever was getting on who, I like that Chubb was standing up for whatever he thought there. And yeah, Bosby so far just hasn't been up to task on Diggs. Mike Evans, good to see you, my friend, one of our bona fide superstars and Mount Rushmore members of this community. He says, we need to get the ball into the playmaker's hands. How about a screen pass? Also, we need to put a spy on Allen. I think at this stage, Zach, that's a really, really good recommendation. You wonder what you lose in coverage, but I think with how much damage Allen's been able to cause, a spy would be at least considered on some down and distance situations.
Yeah, because they're not going to stop running, especially in the second half when they get the ball back. They're going to want to start taking time off the clock and wearing the Broncos down on the ground. They have to put a spy back there, but just get off the field when you can. Don't miss those sacks. Get them to the ground. Don't commit stupid penalties, and you'll have a chance in the second half to win this game.
Jerry, one of our Facebook supporters, is Bosby all we have for Diggs? Jerry, there is nobody, dude. This is
literally
it. Dog, this is the last line of defense. Like, you know, you heard the word dregs or scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's what this is, my friend. And so, you know, it's hold on for dear life and hope for the best. The Broncos have no other options. None.
I would like to see, though, I understand it's a really tough assignment for Devontae Bosby on the NFL's third leading receiver and Stephon Diggs, but how about double coverage or how about some help over the top? You know, how about jamming him? Just something to help Bosby out and not leave him on an island. That's the only, nitpick that I have.
Najal Tough, one of our superstars, good to see you on game day, my friend. He says, hey, brothers, happy holidays, and to you as well. Seems like the only shot in this game is Locke outscoring Allen in the second half. Another Judy drop? We need Jackson and Simmons to step up back there. I agree. Jackson, to me, outside of a few big hits this season, has mostly been forgettable, especially in coverage. But Simmons, it's hard because there's definitely a finger to be pointed, but I don't blame Simmons because he was slow getting there on that seam touchdown. But you're worried about Diggs, who's been just eating Bosby's lunch. You're worried about Beasley over the middle. You're worried about Isaiah's McKenzie's twitch. They just got him, dude. They got him.
And it's weird that they're not using Kareem Jackson more at cornerback, considering that's a position that he converted from. I'm right there with you. It's why I keep suggesting the Broncos might actually move on from Kareem Jackson and A.J. Boye and Jarrell Casey and pocket like $36 million in the salary cap savings. Simmons is worth being re-signed, but as a guy in pass coverage, Kareem Jackson is definitely, I think, below average for sure.
I'm saying, you know what? Save a fraction of that money you're going to pay Kareem and consider giving it to Will Parks and just let Will Parks be your strong guy next to Justin Simmons, which was John Elway's initial plan in 2016 when he drafted those two safeties in the same class. And by the way, Red John jumping in, good to see you. He says, in before Bosby cut. In before Bosby cut again.
Banished.
Also, I hate Sherbert. Just saying, P.S. Am I crazy for wishing we had Jake Plummer in his prime right now? Hey, you're talking to like one of the biggest Jake Plummer fans of all time. I would love to see Plummer at any point in the NFL continuum, Zach.
Yeah, but how could you say that right now when you're watching Drew Lock make these throws and actually having a really decently solid game against a really good defense? I think this has been very encouraging so far. And I said it in the first half on Twitter. When he threw a ball away, or I can't remember, he might have taken I think he took a sack, though. It would have been an interception just a few weeks ago. So you're seeing Locke really grow up the last few weeks. And that last drive, he made two legit NFL big boy throws, both out routes, both really tough. That difficulty on both those throws, especially one a fan, is a 10. And he made both. So I'm encouraged by Locke today.
Right-handed throwers throwing the left out route, you just have to really be accurate, throw into the future, and put enough mustard, and because it's so much easier for defenders to jump inside on that. Jonathan Figueroa jumping in. Good to see you, my brother. He says, to be honest, the offense is playing pretty good. Drew is progressing. Defense is falling apart. Jewel is costing us in pass defense. Let's pull off an upset, baby. Yeah, I mean, everything you've said up to this point is true. Zach, I'll tell you what, if that scoring touchdown to close out that scoring drive to close out this second quarter can be some kind of a momentum and confidence booster for the offense, that they can have a chance in the second half, but the defense has got to tighten up. And I know it's low odds of them doing that because they're so low and thin, especially in the secondary, but they have to tighten up if they want to have a chance in this. If you let Josh Allen score on 3 of 4 possessions in the second half, Locke's not going to be able to keep up. I don't care. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be able to keep up when you've got an 8-point gap going into the second half and they score 3 additional touchdowns. Unless you're batting 1,000 for touchdowns every drive in the second half, you're not going to be able to keep up with that. So the defense has to get it together. And you know what? Maybe, I don't know what the exact adjustments could be made here, Zach, for Vic Fangio, but there's got to be a solution that they can try something different, because what they're doing now, even though it's kind of forcing the nickels and dimes, it's eventually the dam has broken and there's been a few big plays, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and that 8-point gap should be a 4-point gap because Russolino left 4 points on the board, on the field. And it's when you look at it that way, if you look at 21-17, this game is right there for the taking. It's anyone's ball game at this point. The Broncos can get some stops on defense, like you were saying, Chad, and they keep converting their possessions, not to field goals, not to 3-and-outs, to touchdowns. They legitimately have a shot to pull off the upset today. What they do, though, in the second half, how they come out, will tell us a lot of how the rest of the game will be dictated.
Kenneth Booker jumping in, a superstar. Appreciate you, bro. He says, with the kicker almost missing the only field goal he made, should we go for 2 with Gordon in an RPO? Yeah, they probably should have. They probably should have tried to go for 2. I mean, I feel bad for Russolino on one hand, Zach, because this was his big opportunity for the league. You get a 54-yarder. It's a lower percentage attempt, but you still got to make that. And then you miss an extra point. Yeah. Dude, this was your chance to break into the NFL at 31 years old, by the way. This is a 31-year-old kicker getting his debut. So probably going to end up closing the book on that.
And unlike Kendall Hinton, Russolino actually had practice time. He had prep time to get ready for his role as the Broncos kicker, and he's blowing it. And this is in the Denver friendly to kickers mile-high altitude, and he just shanks an extra point. It's unacceptable, Chad, for sure.
MHH male model, Mohammed Badri jumping in to say, thank you, my friend. I have hope to win this game, but the kicker is scaring me. Yeah, that's the problem. If, Zach, this comes down to a kick to win it all for the Denver Broncos, you're in deep doo-doo. If it comes down to a shootout of trading touchdowns all the way down to the wire, you'll have a chance. But, yeah, this is not a situation in which you want to rely on a inexperienced, not good enough, not talented enough to get a shot in the league till you're 31 years old, and a guy who's already missed 2 of his 3 attempts today.
And let me tell you something. This could actually work to the Broncos' advantage because late in the game, if this game is close, they're going to be more aggressive than they normally would. They're going to try to go for the end zone, go for the touchdown, and play balls to the wall because they have nothing to lose, Chad. The playoffs are an afterthought right now. They want to play spoiler. They're on national television. Why not? You don't have a field goal kicker. Go for the end zone, go for the touchdown, and go for the Bills' throats. That's what I want to see.
Guys, that drive that Drew put together, it would have been so easy for a team sitting at 5-8 and with the ups and downs that Drew Lock has had this year to just kind of go into a shell and mail it in. But he didn't, dude. He put the pedal to the metal, as Zach said, made some big boy throws, punched it in. Got to be stoked about that. Braden Poff jumping in. Thank you, Braden. He says the defense looking a little off today. Also, haven't seen anything bad from Wilkinson at right tackle. Let me know if I'm wrong. Yeah, no obvious glaring lapses from Wilkinson, so let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm touching wood as I say that.
Yeah, I have my elbows and my hands and my thighs on wood right now. Yeah, you only can wonder though how often it's going to hold up for Wilkinson before that dam inevitably breaks. But so far, Chad, him and Glasgow both actually, that right side of the offensive line is actually opening massive holes for Melvin Gordon in the running game at times. So fingers crossed, toes crossed, Wilkinson holds up.
All right, let me see here, John. I'm sitting here we got Miguel and Kevin that I see on the back end. Miguel jumping in. Appreciate you, my friend. He says, awful reffing. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, there's been some unfortunate calls so far by these refs that have gone against the Broncos. And then they end up getting a little bit of a relief from the refs with those 3 Bills penalties in a row after starting 1st and 10 on the Broncos 5. Then you allow that deep seam touchdown to the no-name tight end, and it's like you can't win for losing there. As far as the defense is going today.
Yeah, I honestly think it's bad all around, the refereeing. I think they're way too flag happy. They're involving themselves in the game and they're becoming the storyline. That's always what you don't want from NFL officiating. So fingers crossed as well that we have better refereeing in the second half.
Robert Skinner says, go for the throat. Love it.
Yes.
And by the way, you got to send us a selfie of that let 'em hate picture of yours there, Robert. Send it to milehighhuddle@gmail.com when you get some time, my friend. Big Kevin Peterson. Everyone knows Big Kevin. Superstar. He says, can't wait to blow up Pat McAfee on Monday. Dude stinks, talking about Russolino. I know. I was like, I'm a big fan of McAfee, which I am. I respect the dude. And kind of a cool human interest story, the way Russolino ended up on the Broncos' radar due to McAfee. And now you're cursing McAfee for sending this cat your way.
Maybe, the Broncos front office and Matt Russell should have scattered their own kicker and not relied on purely Pat McAfee and Tom McMahon. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, you wonder what kind of more experienced kickers might have been out there for the offering aside from this guy that was CFL, AFL, XFL. Duke Boynton jumping in. Everyone knows Duke. MHH, Mount Rushmore. He says, balls to the wall. Those players better have Manscaped.
Promo code Huddle.
This is a man who is always on point.
John,
all right.
Look at that.
Do not sleep on Duke. But yes, go to manscaped.com right now. Use the code HUDDLE and get 20% off plus free shipping. You still got time to get those stocking stuffers in for that special Broncos fan in your life. All right, let me see here.
That was seamless, Chad. Nice job.
Kenneth Booker, with the kicker almost missing the only field goal he made. We go? Oh, we already got that one. Right? We did get that one. Yes, well, they should have. That's 409. All right, let me skip down. We got Muhammad. Man, the stream is on fire right now. There's Braden. Let me see what we got on Facebook. We got Greg. Good to see you, Greg. Let him hate shirt like a stud. McManus hanging out, playing Call of Duty with Vaughn. You should be getting fined for having to miss the game. Yeah, it depends on whether or not it was deemed as if his contact tracing leads to the realization that he was participating in what the NFLPA considers risky behavior, he could be subject to a fine. But there's no reason to believe that at this stage.
Yeah, they're having a group online multiplayer with Paxton Lynch. It's a party, Chad.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Castillo says, everyone loves Allen this year. Well, he's had a great year, man. Quarterbacks, they start from here. They start low. Usually it's like this, right? Incremental, and then boom, stratosphere. And this is the stratosphere season for Allen. And I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm so stoked to see that for him because as a guy that came from small school Wyoming, was considered to be a number 1 caliber pick for 2018, but ended up having a not so good senior year. Still ends up going in the first round, but I love seeing him have some success. And then BNS, it says Bowles, no sacks and over 250 snaps, baby. I would be stunned if he doesn't get credited for that Mario Addison sack because it was his man, even though it was a coverage sack. I think today was when he gave up. I think he'll be credited for that. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't beaten in a pass rush, but it was one of those. Locke tries to climb the pocket, ends up getting tackled from behind by Addison, who was Bowles' block there.
Yeah, BNS, the Bulls News Service at it again. We appreciate you as always. And as Josh Allen, Chad, as far as he goes, why I love watching him play, and I agree with you, and watching him grow is because he's been a product of excellent coaching. And it's just an exhibit of what great coaching can do for a young quarterback. And that's why Broncos fans have to hang in there with Drew Lock. Not saying he's going to be Josh Allen, but when you can take a good quarterback and make him a great one, you see the product. And he's been really fun to watch today.
All right, Richie Rich says, I'm hoping we see proper defensive adjustments. We need more pressure. Absolutely. This is in the second half. If you're Bradley Chubb, hopefully you saw enough from your opponents in the first half to kind of start setting them up. And what intelligence you gleaned in the first half, the second half, now's the time to use it. You got to find a way to get to Allen. They pressured him a few times, but I'll agree, Zach, that he's been way too comfortable back there.
Yeah, this is not a good start, Chad. They just let up a pretty big kick return on the opening touch for Buffalo, setting them up fairly deep to start. So they have to get off the field here. If they can't surrender a touchdown, they have to keep this game within one possession or 10 points or so to have a chance in the fourth quarter.
All right, guys, we're going to dip out of here. Thank you for spending some time with us here on the Rapid Reaction, contributing to the conversation, and a mile-high salute to our Super Chat superstars. But, guys, this isn't it for us today. We're going to be back, Zach and I, here
for
the gut reaction immediately following the game. So we want each and every one of you back in the stream. As soon as this game is over, we'll get the link up, the stream link up, about halfway through the fourth quarter. So look for that. Zach, what do you expect to see? I know we've got a couple plays into the second quarter or third quarter, but what do you expect to see?
I mean, I just saw Josh Allen throw another dime, Chad. And when he's on like that, you can't even hate it. He just split two defenders. He split Kareem Jackson and the cornerback. I mean, the guy is playing on point right now. They cannot allow a touchdown. I mean, I wrote yesterday, the Broncos' preferred bend but don't break defense is facing the ultimate stress test today with their cornerback situation and Buffalo's offense. They got to keep the game in front of them and can allow. Should have had a pick there. Bosby got his hands on it. They got to hold him.
In what world, Russolino, you're in thin air, dude. Why did that ball on the kickoff land short of the goal line to a guy named Andre Roberts, who's one of the most dangerous kickers in the league? Kenneth says, Stink is actually saying positive things about Denver. I know. It's crazy. Scratch your head. But we got to go, guys. We'll be back. End of the game, gut reaction. For Zach, I'm Chad. We will see each and every one of you there. We'll see. Go Broncos. Go Drew. Go seize your legend, dude. Carp diem.